back, everybody, to the World of Railways virtual exhibition part 3. I'm very excited because our next guests are from Scale Model Scenery, Justin and Tina Noble. Hello to you both, welcome to the show, and thanks for joining us. Are you okay?
Yeah, we're good, thanks, we're good.
Fantastic. Well, I'd like to start things off really by saying, you always get a bit of a feeling for people when you meet them and how driven and motivated they are. And I have to say, congratulations to you both, because it must have been about 2015 when I went round to your house, and you hadn't been going long. There were plans afoot to build something at the bottom of the garden to separate workspace from your home life. You built your shed, you expanded it, and now you've moved down south, and you look at the size of the warehouse that you're both in. I mean, it's fantastic. What a journey.
It has been a bit of a journey, and a bit of a whirlwind. Been hard work, but I mean, we've enjoyed it. I think it's been a pleasant challenge, and yeah, to be honest, I can't believe how we've managed to make it work. But we've just many hours of hard graft and focus and just sheer determination and not giving up, and it just want to just get on really and just create things, and hopefully people are enjoying the products and it helps us keep going. But
absolutely. Well, I mean, creating products is what you're really all about. I mean, there's hardly a week that goes by where we don't see a new release from Scale Model Scenery, and they're all useful products. This is the thing that you tend to find, is that people release a product and you think, okay, well, I know at least 4 other manufacturers that produce that, or this version might be slightly better than another manufacturer's. But most of the things that you guys tend to release are entirely new. There's nothing out there in the market that actually exists that does what you've created. So where do you come up with the ideas from? Is this customer feedback, or is it just, oh, you know what, I could do that?
It's a combination, really. I spend a lot of time with Tina and Sally. If I'm driving along in the car, I'm often going, and I'm looking at things. She goes, the other day, what do you keep looking at the bridge for? We drove past Tesco's in St Austell. I went to Screwfix in St Austell. Past Tesco's, there's a big railway bridge. And every time I went underneath it, I don't have a look at the things. And I'm looking all the time for different things and getting my brain's busy trying to work out how we can do various things. Now I see things done in plastic and other materials. I think, I'm sure we can do that in laser board or whatever, but I'm sure we can do it in a different way or make it easier to manufacture or whatever. And I'm always looking at random things that you see in everyday life that you don't see on layouts. And again, spending time on my phone scrolling through, I'm not just scrolling through randomly looking at any old stuff on Facebook. I'm looking at people's layouts, trying to work out what's missing and looking for gaps and thinking, right, yeah, but there would normally be one of those there, wouldn't there? Oh, right, okay. Well, if they've not got one and they've not got one, maybe it's worth a shot then. Perhaps if we do one of those, because there's one, whatever it might be, it could be anything. But I just look for gaps in things and just look for absence in layouts, absent things. And look at everyday life. You just anywhere, driving home on an evening, look at your own house, look at your own village and things. Walking around the village where we're lucky enough to live in Mevagissey now, or Mevagissey as I should pronounce it. And walking around there's so much inspiration for the harbour and stuff like that. Just all sorts of things, rusty stuff and filthy stuff. It's amazing. So it's just from that really. And then customers do email and say, oh, I saw you just done so-and-so. Could you do one of these that's a slightly different version, or could you modify this and make one of these out of it? So it's a kind of 30%, 33% of lots of things. It's me looking for gaps. It's looking at everyday life and customer feedback. A lot of products are customer driven, and folks will say, can you do this as a one-off? I think one-offs isn't our thing. I'd rather produce a kit that everybody can build. If they want to build it, anybody could build it, and it could be used. I look at other companies that have been around for years, like Pico and Superquick and all the rest of them. They've been around for 50 plus years. They've been doing all sorts of things. And I think Scale Model Scenery, I want Scale Model Scenery to be like that. I want us to be still here in 50 years time. Yeah, maybe still doing the same fencing. LX06, we may have sold enough to go around the world by then or whatever, but we're still doing it because it offers great value, and it's a it's a product that modelers can build really easily. It looks brilliant, and hopefully, and does the job. And I just look for with customers giving us feedback. I say, well, I can't do it as a one-off, but if you're happy enough, I'll produce it as a standard product, and we can supply you with X amount for your layout or whatever. Or we've done various things over the years. And that works quite well. We get ideas, customers then sometimes submit drawings and things like that, which helps us get a head start. Other times we do all the research ourselves. They just plant the idea in our head. Could you do so and so? Yeah, actually.
Sure. Yeah.
I'll go and measure stuff, or I'll go and take weird pictures around various places, and just but.
So I suppose Tina, you've been alongside Justin throughout this whole procedure, helping out, and you do a lot of the admin side of the dispatch as well. You've now both moved down south, relocated. There's been a lot of change, hasn't there, in the past couple of years? But one of the things that I'd like to bring it back to is that sort of first seed that was planted. Did you discuss it as a couple? This is what I'd like to do. I really want to have a go at making this laser cut malarkey. Because before you, there wasn't that much competition on the market. How did that all pan out?
Well, Justin will always say that it was my idea, I suppose. Well, it was my idea to do the self-stuff printed, wasn't it? We were just doing the downloads.
Yeah.
And I suppose, we probably did discuss.
Yeah, there was a bit of discussion, wasn't there, about laser cutting. I think I found out originally when we were doing the downloads, I'd looked at laser cutting a long time ago and sort of always said, it's far too expensive. We can't do that. It's just out of reach. There's no way we could do that. And then over the years, I suppose, since we started doing the downloads, then we had various discussions, and then you said, let's start printing them, selling them pre-printed on eBay and things like that. And we started that with a tiny printer, then we upgraded to a Xerox printer, and that was a big step. But you sort of, a lot of this has been driven by you, because you've given me the confidence to just go, let's just try. Because what's the worst thing that can happen? If it went pear-shaped, then we send the printer back, or the laser. We sell the laser or whatever. If it goes completely, it just doesn't work, then we cut our losses, and this is the position we're in.
Yeah.
So you've always given me that confidence to just go, well, okay, well, if it doesn't work, then not that we get off scot-free or anything, because we don't, but you sort of go, well, yeah, okay, the worst case isn't that bad if it doesn't work. So I think we discussed the lasers, and then we went and had a demonstration. And I think both of us sort of went, well, it's kind of obvious, we've got to do it. There's no choice. We can't not do it. And if we went, no, leave it, somebody else would jump on it, or we'd be kicking ourselves 3 years down the line thinking, should have done that. So we just took the plunge, didn't we?
Fantastic. So this new warehouse that I can see behind you there, I mean, it looks like you're in a bit of a mezzanine level. How did you come across this warehouse? And talk us a little bit through, because I know you referred to just before about shop floor now, which is it's a far cry from the kitchen table, isn't it? So talk us through, how you've partitioned this warehouse and how you managed to find it.
When we were looking for over the years, you knew the plan to move to Cornwall, but as if we put in the newsletter over the years, we wanted to move to Cornwall, and that's mostly my doing. I like being by the seaside. I kept saying, really want to just live by the sea. Why shouldn't we why not live by the sea? So we sort of set that as a goal, and then we were looking for various premises around anywhere in Cornwall initially. Then things got kind of narrowed down about 18 months ago, when Elizabeth met Ollie, the fisherman. So Elizabeth met Ollie, which kind of narrowed things down. She said, well, I want to be somewhere near Ollie, because if we're still going out, I need to be able to get there. I'm thinking, well, I don't want to do Dad's taxi for 20 miles back and forth on an evening. So that kind of narrowed things around to the Mever area or St Austell area. So we started looking at properties, and there was not really a lot about. There was a newish place towards St Austell, but that was very new and very posh and very space age. Not that this isn't posh, but this is new, but it was kind of a technology centre. But it was mainly for people doing things like graphic design, electronic design, that kind of thing. And I thought we were going to go and have a look at it, but we decided that there was a bit of sort of some questioning over what we need to put in terms of extraction. So if we went to this space age building and then said, actually, we need to put a 1 foot wide hole in the wall and put a big chimney up the side of the building, is that all right? They would have gone, no, actually, we can't do that. So that kind of narrowed that down. So we had, no, it's got to be industrial then. Looked at a place near Tesco in St Austell, but we decided that was in a, what was it?
It's a clean air thing.
Oh, clean air. Not that we pollute the air particularly. We do, laser cutting creates a small amount of smoke. It's nowhere near the amount of smoke you get from an open fire in a house.
Right,
Or
yeah.
not even close to that. But what we didn't want was being next to Tesco's and houses and various other things. Is people saying, look, all I can smell is your smoke from your laser cutters. That's not fair. So we had another look and came across this place, which is kind of sort of the middle of nowhere. We've got the Mercedes garage in front of us, and then there's 20 something, we're number 26, there's 28 units on here, all industrial-ish, all doing manufacturing. So there's grinding solutions across the road, there's a roofing contractors and various other things. And we thought this is probably more suited to what we're doing. It's a manufacturing area. So we're in the middle, we're in the middle of nowhere. We're on the A390, so which is really easy to get to from Truro and St Austell. So actually it's quite well placed. So anybody trying to find us, if you can find the Mercedes garage, you can find us. So if people want to pick products up, come here, it's not a problem. And space-wise, it was just a blank canvas. It's a brand new building that the landlord's, he's built, say, 28 of them over the last 2-3 years. And nobody had been in here. So it was all just a completely empty shell and a blank canvas for us to just do what we wanted. And the landlord, Gary, seems a pretty decent chap. And if you keep on the right side of him, you know, and you explain what you're trying to do and you show him what you're trying to achieve, he's very much on our side, I think. So before,
You know, I have to admit, it looks a very tidy workspace. Is this your doing, Tina? Are you keeping Justin in check with his with his laser cut kits?
I try my hardest.
No, I have to say, it does look very tidy, very smart, and it's great to see the business flourish like that. Well, one of the things that I get from you both on a regular basis are your newsletters. They're quite intimate compared to traditional newsletters about products that's arriving in stock. What was the thought process behind that? Because you don't hold back, you know, you share your daily lives and what you're up to.
Yeah, they kind of grown over the years, I suppose. When we originally started, the very first newsletter I sent probably had about 10 people read it. So it was a case of, it's more like you're emailing your mates rather than emailing customers, if you know what I mean. Because there was so few, probably half of them were on the newsletter, probably my dad and a few other people like that. So it was just like you were writing to family in a way. And then over the years, it's kind of developed into being a big family. We get a lot of people sort of share their experiences with us, and I think, well, why not share what we're doing with them? Yeah, we don't share absolutely everything, but we tend to just try and keep people up to date, because over the years people have followed the story, and it has been quite a story from the first download release onwards. So I've just kind of put in some other things, because I suppose initially there wasn't a lot to write about, so I sort of thought, well, I'll put some just stuff about us in, because we're a family. That's what we're doing. Yeah. I suppose I've done a bit of training over the years about sales and marketing training, and some of that comes from that, and just little bits that kind of help. But it just felt right. Just felt. But it's easier for me to write a conversational newsletter than it is to write a formal newsletter. Even now, when I put the salesy bits at the bottom, I don't like sort of saying, oh, please buy this. I just think, well, if here's the stuff, if you want it for your layout, then brilliant. I would love you to buy it. But I'm putting these out there. If you don't like them, you don't like them. If you love them, you love them. That's brilliant. And I hope people do like the product. But I just like to sort of share our story, really. I'm just trying to, and in a way, kind of, hopefully, I don't want to sound cheesy, but sort of inspire people to get on and build a layout, do stuff, and we're just normal people. Some people, with other companies, you think, oh, I don't know who runs the company. I don't know what Mr. So-and-so looks like. I just have no idea. The company is an entity, but the company is also people. And we've got, there's 10 people, there's 10 of us now, including Tina and myself. And we're all individual people. We've all got personalities, and we all do things. We've all got interests. We're all just humans, and I like to sort of share that a bit. Obviously, not like I say, not share absolutely everything, but it just seems to, and it builds that relationship with the customer. And I think then customers become friends. They can ask us questions, we can ask them questions, and it just works.
Sure.
It's just,
I suppose it helps us. It helps us get to know you both, and your dog Lola, of course, which it seems gets out for plenty of walks. But I suppose that ties in nicely with the next question, which is that customers, when they actually meet you in person, say it's a show, Worley, which you attended 2 years ago with a ginormous stand. They get to know you a bit better, and they can talk to you, and they're not frightened to ask the questions face to face because they feel like they know you. How was that show for you both? I mean, that was some stand, wasn't it, that you attended? And now that you've relocated so far down south, will we see you at a Worley show in the future?
Yes, we shall still do shows. We'll probably do the larger shows, Worley and a couple of others. Because of the distance, we may do a couple of smaller ones down here, maybe because they're just sort of up the road. The one at Bodmin we've been asked to do, so I'm going to do that. We're planning to do Worley. We've had some discussions with Worley this year about what's happening. Obviously, before all of the COVID stuff kicked off and the world was normal, we had some big plans to sort of grow the stand even more again for last year. That would have been, and the discussions we had then with the chaps from Worley was to sort of go quite a bit bigger and put a lot more layouts, bring layouts down, and we create several demo layouts and that kind of thing. At the moment, we're trying to put two proposals together at the moment with Worley. One for if the number of visitors has to be halved or restricted because of whatever restrictions may still be in place, and one for unrestricted, an unrestricted show. We would like to do. I'd like to do a bigger stand, but not really, only because we've got that many products now. We're close on to 1,000 products, and what we've done Worley twice, and we always find that people always ask for the things we've not bought. So we have to make sure that we've got. We can't take everything, but there's always it's always unusual stuff that you think, well, we never sell any of those, so I won't take them. And then I'm on the phone to Tina because she's still at home or whatever. Say, can you cut me 10 of these because I'm going to need them tomorrow, because no end of people have asked for them. So we need a larger stand to accommodate the products really, and to give people the room to browse and just explore the range and have a play. And one of the things that Ian really likes to do is make sure that whatever we've got on display is hands-on, and a lot of stands and a lot of obviously the layouts are do not touch kind of things, but a lot of trade stands I think go that way as well, whereas Ian likes to let people pick stuff up and have a play. And I do as well. If you've got if we've just developed something and we're trying to show you, well, the best thing to do is pick it up and have a look and really get a feel for it and work out whether it's right for you as a product. So we need the space to be able to put things out so people can pick them up and have a play and just touch them and just see what's involved in building things. And we'd like to do a larger stand than we had last time.
I think as well, because with being down here, Justin's not going to be able to ring me and say, can you just cut me such and such so I can pick it up when I come back tonight. So having the bigger stand would mean then that we would be able to take more, which would lessen that thing of people asking for stuff that we haven't bought.
Definitely.
Just coming back to what you were on about there, about people touching the products on the stand and getting to sort of feel how it is and what it looks like. One of the things that you recently started to introduce are these live builds where you will actually live stream a building of one of your kits. I think these go out every Wednesday, are they, on your...
Wednesday mornings. Yeah, we do Wednesday morning.
Right.
Yeah.
So how's that been? And do you find you're getting better feedback from customers, or is this opening up to a new audience potentially?
It's been really useful, I think, in two ways, both for customers and sort of followers of the newsletter. It's been really good. There's a lot of people that tune in every week, like they would tune into a TV program on a Wednesday morning, which is amazing. It's lovely to see. So the same faces appear, and it's brilliant. It's lovely to have a bit of a chat with them. And because we haven't been able to go and do the face-to-face things at Worley and stuff, where we'd normally see so many of your regular customers that come and say hello, we haven't been able to see them. It's the best we can do at the moment in the current situation. But it allows us, rather than just saying, oh, here's a new product, oh yeah, buy this, buy this, buy this, and just it's sort of being a sales thing. It's really, we're trying to sort of educate a bit. A lot of customers are quite frightened of using paper wraps, which, you know, we use, Scale Scenes use, Smart Models, loads of other companies all use texture papers to wrap around card. But it's a brilliant way of working to create something that looks realistic, but you don't need to be able to do anything more than cut some shapes out with a knife, use a tube of Yoo-hoo or some Pritt stick and glue it onto a piece of card.
Sure.
But trying to, I suppose, show people that the kits aren't as complicated as they might think. You know, so a lot of people put off it, and you know, Sam downstairs, he prefers to paint everything. I can't paint. I can't paint for toffee, but I can wrap and I can design stuff in Photoshop. So wrapping is my thing, but showing people how simple it is to do some of these things has opened people's eyes and gone, actually, well, if I use wraps for that, but then I can still apply weathering and other paintwork and stuff over the top to achieve an even better finish, but this gives me a head start.
Yeah.
It's been an educational process, hasn't it? For and for us as well, it's been quite good. Apart from me cutting the finger end off last Wednesdays, which was a bit irritating, shall we say? Yeah, felt a bit of a fool, but there you go. Apart from that, it's been very good to get some feedback and folks say, "Oh, can you just show me how you did that again?" Or, "Oh," and there's loads of questions about glues and stuff. But it's a it creates conversations that wouldn't happen because they wouldn't pick the phone up and say, "What glue should I use?" But they'll go on a live thing and just type, "Oh, what's that glue you're using? What's this?"
Yeah.
You've got that. It's halfway between a dialogue with somebody at an exhibition and a phone call kind of thing, and it's a bit more personal, I suppose. We can't see them, but we can interact with them on the live chat, and it's been great. And then Tina's been joining me for the last 3 weeks on them, I think 3 or 4 weeks on them, just helping with bits and doing the comments. And it's trying to make the best of an awkward situation with COVID, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely feels like there's a whole team effort there going on. Obviously, there's both yourselves. You've got Dylan, Ian helping out as well, and Sam occasionally. Now, new products. Obviously, you've got 1,000 or so that you've just said that you have in your vast catalogue, and no doubt a couple of years from now, who knows? But what is your latest, Dustin and Tina? What have you brought out really recently?
After how long have we been doing this? 6 years as a limited company, we're now finally actually getting some railway related buildings done. We've been a model railway accessory company for official model railway accessory company for 6 years and never had any real railway products. So now we've been actually starting to do things like this one that Dylan did, the LNER little platform hut, platform shelter, and then we've just released the platform system, which is a modular system. So this has taken quite a bit of work, but we're really pleased with it. And it allows people to build a platform pretty quickly and hopefully fairly economically.
Yeah, so talk us through that modular platform system. What sort of options can we see in terms of the effects that you can apply over the top, and how long are each of the lengths? How does it all slot together?
Right. Well, there's a choice of. It's a real mix and match system. There's 12 different platform sections, so various pieces, which I'll cover in a second. There is a choice of 23 or 24, can't remember, more than 20 platform surface textures. So asphalt, slabs, pink asphalt, gravel, herringbone brick, and all sorts of other things. You've got choices of the coping. So you've got traditional or basic concrete slab, you've got flagstones, network rail coping, you've got tactile paving, all the different things. There's all various combinations of it. You've got platform markings with Mind the Gap, the yellow lines, all the rest of it. So there's 24-ish of those for your top surface. And then you've got 7 different platform faces, walls, whatever you want to call them. There's 7 different finishes for that. So you've got red brick, blue brick, dark red, brown, and then 3 different types of stone. They're all based on the same system, so you can choose any of the top surfaces and any of the front wall surfaces for your platform. So it's a complete mix and match. Then you've got island platform sections, which obviously go between 2 tracks. You've got single-sided platform sections, which is this one is. So you've got coping one side and not the other, flush side the other. we've got ramps, obviously, and then we've got flush-sided versions of everything. So if you're building an older platform, certainly around the middle is where we used to live, all of the kind of derelict stations and things around Whittick and stuff like that, all of the platforms they were just flush fronted. They've got bull nose coping, then flush front. So we've done that option for those that want flush sides on both sides. Then you've also got some extension units which allow you to make deeper platforms. So you can have a deeper one all the way along, including ramps, or you can just make a deeper section where you want to put your station building or booking hall or whatever. So there's a whole choice of things. There's
comprehensive, very comprehensive.
And then there's 2 lengths of straight. You've got 280 mil straight and 168 mil straight. And then you've got, say, the ramps. You've got whatever else there is. And the extensions and bits and bobs. Then this week, which I've not cut yet, but this week we are working on curved platforms, which will be, there won't be fixed sections for curves, but you'll have flexible walling. So we've actually, it's a fairly well-known method of making wood flexible using a laser cutter. So we're using a fairly tried and tested method of creating a bendy piece of MDF, really.
Right, yeah.
So we're creating a bendy wall that you can then clip down to your baseboard, mark out where you want your platform surface to be, cut the card to fit the top. So it'll still work alongside these ones, but you can go into a curve. Instead of it being MDF and card on the top, it'll be 2 layers of card, because then obviously you can cut it with a Stanley knife or whatever. Whereas MDF, it's a bit more tricky, but it should give us that ability to do pretty much any radius.
Right.
And hopefully it'll be simple enough. Dylan and I spent couple of hours on Friday thrashing it out, trying to work out how best to make the thing work, because once you've got your bendy walls, you've then got to work out how you're going to create your platform top surfaces.
Sure, yeah.
we brainstormed it for a while and came up with some pretty reasonable ideas, pretty clever ideas, I think, of how you can make that work. So we're going to test that this week. If it works, they'll be available hopefully back end of this week, early next week. But so all in all, about 14 different sections in total.
Good grief. So you've both been very busy then, to say the least. Well,
Yeah.
I think it's incredible to see how the business has flourished. I think you're both an inspiration to us all. Congratulations, and yeah, all the very best with it. And thanks for joining us today here on the World of Railways virtual exhibition. And well, I'm sure we'll catch up with you at some point in the near future. But in the meantime, thanks both for your time.
Thanks for having us.
Howard.
Cheers, Howard. Thank you.
Take care.